Hello everyone, welcome to our third lesson in math. It's different ways to represent data. Today we're going to review different types of graphs and apply our previous knowledge from lesson 1 to the stem and leaf plot as a practice on how to use it. Part 1, types of graphs. Line graphs display continuous data and are useful in predicting future events. How? Because we look at the trends over time on the line graphs, and that helps us to make predictions for future events. Let's take a look at this example here. You have your title, your key, or the legend. In this case, it tells us which color is which, and you have your x-axis and the y-axis. Bar graphs display categories of data and is one method of comparing data by using solid bars to represent quantity. Sometimes bar graphs could be horizontal like this example, and sometimes they can be vertical. But regardless, you're going to have your title, a key or legend, the x-axis, and the y-axis. Circle graphs show a relationship of the parts to a whole, and percentages are used to show how much of the whole each category occupies. So in this example here, you have your title and your circle graph, which is divided into 4 parts. Those parts or categories are labeled as Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and Team 4, and they have percentages to show us how much of this whole circle graph each category is occupying. Histograms are a special kind of bar graph that represent the frequency of numerical data, and they're organized into intervals. And the bars have the same width, and there aren't great spaces between them. So this is a difference to the traditional bar graph. So looking at this example, daily time spent on screens, you have your x-axis and the y-axis, and as you can see, the bars have the same width, and there aren't great spaces between them. Frequency tables show the number of pieces of data that fall within given intervals. So in this case, number of people who attended Grace's birthday party, you have the age, which is obviously represented in years, the tally, and frequency. So for ages 1 to 15, 18 people attended, 16 to 30, 11 people attended. From ages 31 to 45, 6 people attended, 46 to 60, 4 people attended, and 61 to 75, 1 person attended. Line plots, they show the frequency of data on a number line, and the X placed above the number line, or number on the line, is basically the plotting. Line plots easily find the range of the data. So let's take a look at this example. This is a scan of from my notes, and basically these outliers are 17 and 73, and they're called outliers because they are quite separated from the rest of the data. There can be gaps between the data on line plot because, there's obviously a range between them. Sometimes they can be clustered, and sometimes they could be stacked, and that tells us that that number is occurring most often. Stem and leaf plots. So this is the data on a stem and leaf plot is organized from least to greatest. The ones place values form the leaf, and the rest is a stem. There will be a legend here as well, or a key to help us read a stem and leaf plot. Basically, for example, it says 3 and then a 1 equal 31 years. So applying this knowledge to this stem and leaf plot, that basically means 2 and the 6 represent 26. 3 and 3 is 33, 4 and 0 is 40, and so on. So now applying this knowledge to a practice question with test scores. So the stem represents the tens, and the leaf is obviously representing the ones. We have the key here, tells us that 7 and a 0, for example, equals 70%. So that means 8 and 5 equal 85%, 9 and 8 represent 98%. And another helpful tool here is it already tells us the total scores. It's 18, so we don't have to go and individually count these. So let's find mean, median, mode, and range using this. And this is our application of the knowledge we learned in lesson 1. So mean, you have to add up all the scores and divide by the number of numbers, in this case 18. And you get 85.5%. To find the median, you have to put them from least to greatest. And another pro of a stem and leaf plot is it already puts the data from least to greatest. So from 70 to 98. And putting them together, we can see that there are 2 numbers in the middle. And even if we don't look at it here, we see that there are a total of 18 scores. 18 is an even number, so this means that this is an even set. There will be two numbers in the middle, and it turns out that those two numbers in the middle are both 87. So these two. You have to add them up to get 174 and divide that by 2 to get 87, and that's a coincidence because now the median is 87%. The mode is the number that appears the most in the set, and here it's already bolded as 74 and 95. So 74% and 95% both repeat 3 times each. And the range is 98 minus 70, and we get 28%. Okay, so this was our lesson for today. There weren't any practice questions because it was a review, but you could take the knowledge from this lesson, make your own graph, whichever one you want to have more practice with, and maybe even apply the lesson on probability, lesson 1, just like I did here, so you could get more practice with that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.